Let's talk about bracketing. Bracketing is taking a series of photographs with different exposures on the same scene so that you have a choice from among exposures. So I've made this little scene here, collected a few things together, and I'm going to take a picture of them. First I'm going to set my meter to 0 according to the scene. I'm going to point the camera and start metering. There's my dancing ball. I move this around until I hit 0. It's telling me 1/5 at 5.6. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot the picture at 1/5 at 5.6. And I got something decent. But now to make the choice happen, I'm going to go and I'm going to set my meter one stop over what I shot. So 5.6, if I want to add extra exposure to that, I'm going to hold 5.6 and I'm going to turn it down until I hit 4. Now I'm adding one stop light more than I had before. I take a picture, and then I'm going to add one stop light more, but this time I'm going to use the shutter speed. I'm going to add more time. So if I add 2, 3 clicks by thirds, I've added one more stop to the light. So now I'm overexposed by 2 stops. When I take a picture of this now, I've got now 3 different exposures. Here's my 2 stops over, here's my 1 stop over, and here's my on the meter reading. So I've got 3 different choices. So let's go and shoot at 2 stops, 1 and 2 stops under. So I'm going to restore my settings. Okay, so now I've returned the original settings to 1/5 and 5.6 on the aperture scale. So now I'm going to bracket in the other direction. I'm going to change my aperture, making it smaller by 1 stop. F8 is now 1 stop smaller. I shoot. Now I've got an image that's a little underexposed. And then I'm going to go under again. I'm going to hold the AV button. Now I'm at F11 and I shoot. Now I shot 5 pictures of the same scene. When I go back to playback, it's showing me here's 2 stops underexposed, 1 stop underexposed, here's 2 stops overexposed, 2 stops or 1 stop overexposed, and then what was called 0 or proper exposure. So if I analyze these, I might find that maybe 0 isn't right. If I go back to this one, that's my 1 stop under. Maybe the colors are richer, so maybe I would choose this one over the original. So that's what bracketing does. It allows you to have a choice of different exposures. Now I went 1 stop over and 1 stop under, and 2 stops over and 2 stops under, but I could do by thirds and be more exact. I could go 1/3 over, shoot the exposure, another third over and shoot the exposure, and then finally 1 full stop over and shoot the exposure, and make a more precise bracketing in order to reach a more precise exposure. Don't confuse this idea of bracketing, which is getting different exposures over a series of shots, with another idea, which is shooting the same EV over several different choices of shutter and aperture combination. In that case, you're always keeping the same EV, but you're changing the aperture and the shutter speed reciprocally and getting different results in terms of depth of field and or motion blur.